Hi, everyone. 12 p.m. We're going to kick off momentarily. Just bear with us. We'll give a minute or two for people to join, and then we'll get straight into it. Okay, welcome everyone. Really glad you're here. Today we're going to talk about something that resellers face and affects your sales every single day without them realizing necessarily. It's not pricing, it's not your photos, it's sizing. So specifically the gap between what the label says and the size should be, and in reality, what it is. So what a buyer actually needs to know to convert and to buy from you. So by the end of this session, we want to fix that gap completely. So let's go. Let's get straight into it. So I want to start with a story, a simple story, because it captures everything. You have two sellers, same dress, but very different results. One seller lists size 12, gets messages for 2 weeks, sells eventually, or doesn't, lingers. One lists with chest 38, pit to pit, waist 30, length 42, no messages, but sells in 48 hours. Same item, same condition. The difference is the information and the time it takes to add to it. So that's what we're going to dive into now. So why is sizing broken online? So there are three forces working against resellers. So one is there's no size standard, right? There's no size standard that exists. A size 12 from Reese fits completely differently to a size 12 from Ralph Lauren. Buyers know this, and they won't risk it without understanding the measurements to ultimately understand the size. Buyers can't try before they buy. Online fashion returns are running, depending on the market, depending on where you are in the world and which country, anywhere between 24, 26%, upwards to 50% in some countries like Germany and Japan. And fit is the single largest cause. So without measurements, you're asking buyers to guess. And rather than guess, they just will not bother. And we have also a lot of vintage items being resold. Vintage sizing is a trap. You know, if an item is from the 80s, it doesn't correspond to the sizing in 2026. Vintage buyers know this. They want to verify it. They want measurements, not just labels, so that they can verify and see how that item will fit them ultimately, right? So sizing is broken. Now, on the other side of this, you've got a time problem. So yes, measurement's the right move, but why aren't more resellers doing that? And you know, it's a time problem in the sense of it takes 2 to 3 minutes per item. If you're doing 30 items a day, that's 60 to 90 minutes, an hour and a half just on measurements. So a lot of resellers they skip it. And you know, it's a mistake you can't afford. So there's a knock-on effect. You're going to get more questions ultimately. Does it fit? And each reply takes time. So not necessarily a time saver ultimately by thinking that you're saving time by doing measurements. There's also a returns tax, I'll call it that. So returns on unmeasured listings run significantly higher, not unexpectedly, when the buyer gets the item back at home and it doesn't fit. Yeah, chances are the corresponding, it's an item that hasn't had the measurements, where the buyer hasn't been able to check it. And we do have an answer for this. So AI can read garment measurements from lay flats automatically. You can do it without the tape measure. You can do it with a tape measure as well. I'm going to show you a couple of ways a bit later in the presentation, in the workshop. And it's not necessarily extra time. So what's the cost of this? So just to give some sense of this, so size and fit is the #1 driver of fashion returns. So 53% of retailers at an industry level cite that, this is what drives returns. You've got size and fit accounting for 70% of all fashion returns. So another industry study. So these are high numbers. And we know that, sellers who add measurements report fewer returns and faster sales. So it feels like a bit of a no-brainer, but there are these challenges which we talked about, which is time. How do I do this efficiently? And how do I do it efficiently at scale? So there's some benefits to this as well, right? So measurements are an SEO lever. So in the context of eBay and Cassini does give preferences to listings with complete item specifics, and measurements are part of that. So a listing missing waist size, for example, on jeans can be excluded from filtered searches entirely, even if waist is included elsewhere. So important for eBay. In the case of Vinted, different, no measurement specifics field necessarily. For example, on jeans or trousers, measurements must go in the description and buyers search by text. So fewer questions, faster sales. So these nuances between eBay and Vinted are true. So different rules, same principle. eBay, it's about item-specific fields. So those measurements do go in. So measurement size, for example. And Cassini does reward completeness. Vinted, on the other hand, there are no dedicated fields. But buyers are searching, and they are looking at your descriptions, and they are looking for measurements to give them a sense of sizing. The additional issue in Vinted is, a few months back towards the end of 2025, Vinted adjusts their sizing and grouped together sizes, which has caused a bit of confusion. So that places even more emphasis in Vinted to get those measurements right and help your buyers buy from you, understanding the sizing of the items that you're selling. So the measurement playbook, what to measure. So tops, shirts, and jackets. So pit to pit, length, sleeve, dresses, similarly, but with waist. And bottoms and jeans very clearly. So waist laid flat, the inseam, the rise, and if relevant, the bottom hem. If you're selling a particular cut of jean, and it's important to your buyer, whether it's boot cut or kind of slim, important to include that measurement, and potentially the outer seam, depending on how you're portraying and you're laying out that garment. So the critical rule above everything else, always measure laid flat. So alongside great photography, super important, and be ultra clear in your descriptions of, if you're including those measurements, of what they are, where they're taken. Now, from our perspective, how we solve it or how we help on this. So the process that we work with our product and our solution, ListingFlow, is you photograph your garment flat. We then, using ListingFlow, read the measurements and we can annotate automatically. So just walking through step by step, you upload your lay flat image. ListingFlow identifies the garment type and can actually work out the key points on the item to extract pit to pit, waist, length, even more. So no tape measure required. We also can read directly from a tape measure. So if you are wanting to continue to measure or show the measurements on an item, we can also do that. We can read that and extract that information. If you opt for the first, if you go for the first option there, where you want us to digitally measure, we then annotate the image. So we generate a annotated version of your photo. So visual proof, it shows the item laid flat. So it's the same image, but annotated on where exactly those measurements are. So to help the buyer understand and increase the confidence to say, look, does this fit me? Yes. Okay, buy. Irrespective, we then populate. So coming back to Cassini, eBay, or if it's in the description, in Vinted, we will take that measurement information and ensure, in the case of eBay and Cassini, it is in the item specifics. In the case of Vinted, it's in the description, it's clear, and we automate that. One workflow across both platforms with zero manual entry. So with that, I hopefully that's given you some insight, some guidance of how important this is, how to focus on it, what to focus on, and how we're solving it. But I wanted, we wanted Dijon, who's here on the call, to walk you through this and give you a sense of how it works in our platform live. So Dijon, over to you.
Hi, thanks, Duncan. Hi, everyone. So mainly I will show you the two ways in our system you can extract the measurement very efficiently. So the first way, and we see a lot of customers did, is providing this ruler images. So you basically put a ruler on where you want to measure and deliver this message to the customers. For example, this one is like measuring the pit to pit of this garment. You just put a ruler and take an images of it. And similar item, you can put multiple measurements on one garment. Just take the photos and rulers or where you want to measure. So for example, the same garments, the one I showed you before is the pit to pit, but you also want to show the length of the garment as well. For example, here, put a ruler here, and rulers where this ends. So basically, this is around 29. So then what we do is like, we can configure it. We put in this measurement into the description, or you can have a size chart mapping this measurement to the size if you have this mapping you want. So that's one way. We can customize it. Why you want to put this measure into title description, just let us know. By default, if you provide these images, you need to tell us you want this ruler images and putting this into the description. You just let us know that we do the configuration for you very quickly. So the other ways is using a chalkboard and using our AI annotation. So what you need to do is put a chalkboard provided by us along with the garment. So in this example, put a chalkboard beside it with the jeans, taking the photos together with one images. So then our AI systems will extract information from the images and measure it for you. So you can see like we measure the waist, inseam, rise. Then we can also put this information into the description. Or the same things, put in the, we can map in this measurement to the size as well, if you have the size chart. And we can also control this publishing as well. So usually you don't want this images to be published. We can control it for you as well. So basically, that's two ways you can focus on the images capturing. We do the rest of the this dirty work for you, filling the titles, description, putting the measurements in. So you just focus on taking the photos. Both of the ways you need to contact us and tell us like what you want. Then we do the configuration for you. This should be a very quick process. Yeah, please contact us. That's the two way I want to show you today, and hand it back to Duncan.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dijon. I'll just remove that. Come back here. So yeah, you saw that just a moment ago. So a couple of ways of doing it, and equally, Dijon actually shared with you. So from a size chart perspective, we can incorporate size charts and ensure that sizing is not misleading and directly corresponds to the measurements that we take of each item, which I think is, which will really help on confidence and getting more buyers to buy you and fewer returns. In any case, a suggested action this week is pick your oldest unmeasured listings, if you have any, filter by age, and add in those key measurements. We can do that for you with ListingFlow, or you can manually do it, and ensure that that is in your specifics in eBay, and in the case of Vinted, it is in your description and clear. So with that, we do have, so for new signups that are not currently signed up to us, we have an offer that's available by the end of this week. So close of play Friday, workshop exclusive, 50 free items, free setup, £10 off your first month or your first purchase. You just need to use the code AI Workshop. No credit card required. We'll get you signed in with Google and get you up and running, essentially for a free trial. So you can see this firsthand, how it works. On the screen there, there's a couple of QR codes just to facilitate that. You can sign in with Google, the first one. And the second one is a very simple WhatsApp code. Put your phone at it, and we'll get an automated pre-populated message with the code AI Workshop, so we know you've come via this route and we can offer this offer. So yeah, with anything, we'll stop there. Any questions or comments? Give a moment or two. Just looking, yeah, okay. Awesome, sounds good. Thank you everyone for joining. Please don't hesitate if you're watching the replay. I know a lot of people are watching it. Don't hesitate to drop us a line, a comment, or WhatsApp. And we look forward to being with you and speaking to you all soon. Thank you so much. Take care, everyone.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.